Welcome to The Explainer. Today, let's talk about cities, but probably not in the way you're used to thinking about them. This isn't about tourism or city planning. No, this is for anyone who has to make a high-stakes business decision. And to do that, you have to understand how cities actually work, deep down.
All right, so let's just jump right in. You've seen this happen, right? A cool new cafe, maybe a boutique, opens up on what looks like the perfect street. It's buzzing with people, tons of foot traffic, and then 6 months later, it's gone, shuttered. So what went wrong? It turns out our gut feeling about what makes a good location can be, well, completely off base.
You know, you might think these businesses fail because of a bad product or a clumsy marketing plan, but honestly, most of the time, the mistake was made way before they even opened their doors. It was a failure to read the city's DNA correctly from the very beginning. It's human nature, right? We trust what we can see. We see a crowded street, a famous landmark, a neighborhood that's all over social media, and we think, bingo, that's the spot. It feels like a sure thing. But the city has this whole other layer, a kind of hidden operating system. And the things that really drive success are running on that deeper level, totally invisible if you're just looking at the surface.
Okay, so there are three big mental traps we almost always fall into. First up is intuition bias. This is when you say, oh, I used to hang out here 5 years ago, it was always packed. Yeah, that's not exactly solid data. Then there's the density trap, super common. You see a ton of people and assume that means a ton of business is happening. Not always true. And finally, the hotspot bias. This is a classic, thinking that because one little corner is trendy, the whole area must be thriving.
So here's the absolute key. We have to learn to tell the difference between a shortcut and a real signal. It's like this. A shortcut, what we see, tells you a place is popular, but a signal tells you how it actually works. A shortcut says, look at all the foot traffic. A signal asks, okay, but where is that traffic going? If it's spread out or just clustered in one tiny spot. See the difference? It's huge.
And that's exactly why these shortcuts are so dangerous. That top 10 coolest neighborhoods list, it might be based on last year's hype. That one super busy street, it tells you absolutely nothing about the dead zone 1 block away. These shortcuts fail because they miss the stuff that actually matters for the long haul. How is the activity spread out? What's the current energy like? And where does the activity really begin and end? So, if all our old tricks are unreliable, what are we supposed to use instead? Well, that's where this idea of urban vitality comes in. It's a total game changer for making business decisions.
And let's be super clear about what this means. Urban vitality isn't some fuzzy academic term about how nice a city is or how famous its landmarks are. Nope. It's way more practical than that. It asks one simple, brutal question. Is this place actually working? Right now? Are people showing up, doing things, spending money, day in and day out? It's all about real-world activity today.
So, vitality isn't just one thing. It's made up of 3 core ingredients. First, operating activity. This means we only look at places that are actually open and doing business, not just dots on a map. Second, distributed presence. This is huge. Is the activity spread out across lots of different spots, making the whole area strong? And third, current momentum. We're looking at what's happening right now, the recent trends, not some dusty old reputation.
All right, let's get into how we can actually use this idea to completely change how we look at a city and where we do business.
This quote really nails it. The big shift is moving from asking how much to asking how. We need to stop looking for a single score, like a 9 out of 10. That doesn't tell us enough. Instead, we have to look at the shape of the activity. The question isn't, is it busy? The question is, how is it busy? So you're not looking at a score, you're looking at the distribution. Think of it like putting on a new set of glasses with 3 lenses. The first lens is depth. Are there lots of strong, active places, or just a few? The second is spread. How far does that energy reach? And the third is fragmentation. Is the activity connected and flowing, or is it all broken up into little isolated pockets? This gives you a way more detailed, and honestly, a way more useful map of what's going on.
And this is so important. Not all vitality is the same. You've got 2 types. First, there's structural vitality. Think of this as the deep roots, the solid foundation of a place. It's stable, sustainable, it's been building for a while. Then you have temporal vitality.
This is more like a flash in the pan, a pop-up event, a new viral trend. It looks exciting, but it can disappear just as quickly as it arrived. And mistaking that temporary buzz for a solid structure, that is a recipe for disaster.
Now, I really want to hammer this point home. Vitality is not a grade. It's not about saying the neighborhood is good or bad. Think of it more like a weather report. It's not judging the weather, it's just telling you what the conditions are so you can decide what to wear. So, what do these different weather reports mean? Well, a high vitality area means there's a lot going on, a big potential market. The downside? You're going to face way more competition and probably pay higher rent. On the flip side, a low vitality area has less activity, for sure, but that can mean less competition and a chance to create something unique for a niche that nobody else is serving.
And that's the whole point. The vitality level doesn't give you the answer. It helps you ask the right questions. The goal isn't just to find a high vitality spot. The goal is to find the spot where the vitality matches your business strategy. A great location is only great if it's great for you.
So this framework is great, right? But a theory is just a theory. How do you actually get this data and put it to work in the real world?
Exactly. This quote sums it all up. It's about understanding how cities actually work, not just how they look on a sunny afternoon.
And that's where something like the Fuse Urban Vitality Report comes into play. This is the tool that takes all this theory we've been talking about, all those complex signals and patterns, and turns them into something you can actually use to make a smart decision.
And who is this for? Well, it's really for anyone whose success depends on getting the location right. You could be a founder trying to figure out where the real demand is before you sink all your money into a lease. You could be a market analyst who needs to compare 10 different neighborhoods with real data, not just feelings. Or maybe you're on a real estate team trying to gauge the real momentum of an area. It's all about getting past the guesswork. So it really all boils down to this question for your next big move. Are you going to chase a hotspot, or are you going to look for a solid operating structure? Because with this kind of perspective, your decision stops being a gamble and starts being a strategy built on how the city actually works.